What's up?
David?
Cam, nice to meet you.
Joshua. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, you kind of have to talk really close into it. It's
Okay.
really sensitive, Mike. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
So I saw your sign that says men can't be women.
Yeah.
And I think it just depends on your definition of a man and a woman. So how do you all define man and woman?
Yeah, I would say woman, according to Oxford, the definition is an adult human female. The definition of female is a person who falls into the sexual category capable of producing ova. And for that reason, I don't believe that men can be women because men cannot produce ova, thus they can't be a female, and thus they can't be a woman.
Okay.
Do you have a definition for a woman, or do you agree with it? Do you have a definition with woman, or do you agree with it?
Do I agree with the Oxford definition? I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't know if I personally have a definitive definition,
That's all right.
but I just want to point out that your statement is based on your definition, not necessarily the truth, because we all have our own definitions, and other people might completely disagree with you simply because they have a different definition for man and woman.
Right, but I mean, what color is that tree over there? The leaves.
Green.
Okay, it's green. And if somebody said it was pink, we would just, oh, that's silly, right? It's an objective truth. That tree is green.
Although that's their truth, right? It's their truth that it's pink, right? But it doesn't make it the truth at the end of the day, right?
The truth is that it's green.
Well, I see the analogy that you're trying to make, but
I don't necessarily disagree that I have my truth, you have your truth, right? But we have to figure out a way to be grounded in the truth. Otherwise, like we were talking about this water bottle. Do you agree that's a water bottle?
I do.
Okay, I think that's a lizard. And that's a problem, right? Because when we start to make policy on water bottles, and I think that that's a lizard, that's when we run into problems. Same thing with a woman. I'm not saying that you can't say what is a woman and make it your truth, but at some point we're going to have to create policy by the definitions, right? Or using those definitions. So we can't pretend that definitions are just what you think and I think. It has to be rooted in some sort of objective reality. The point with the woman is, like, obviously it impacts public policy, like college campuses, locker rooms.
So we can all have our own truths about certain things like the color of leaves or whether or not this is a water bottle. With something like gender, it is a lot more socially constructed. And I do agree with you that there is policy and there's going to be policy made based on those definitions. But
I disagree with you that it's a social construct, because at the end of the day, it still depends on your biological drive or your biology.
it depends on what definition you use.
Okay, well, explain to me what is a woman, and we can go from there.
I can't give you the definition for woman.
What is your definition of a woman?
Like I said, I don't really have a definite description, but I do know that
How would you know that men can be women if you don't know what a woman is?
I couldn't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
How do you know that men can be women if you don't know what a woman is?
Say that one more time.
How do you know that men can be women if you don't know what a woman is?
Okay. So it's not necessarily that I don't know, it's just that I don't have a definitive description, right? Like,
yeah, so
a man can be a woman depending on the definition that you use. I'm just not sure which definition I align with, totally.
Yeah, so based on what you're saying, it seems like you're a little bit unsure of what a woman is. So how could you know that men can be women if you're not even sure what a woman is?
Because it just depends on how you define a woman.
Yeah,
like
but
it
seems like you don't know how to define a woman.
Yes.
So how can you know that men can be women if you can't define what a woman is?
Because, I'm saying that I'm not sure what definition I would use in my day-to-day, 100% of the time. This is, if someone asked me what a woman is, I'm not sure exactly how I would describe it, right? But my point is that you can use a definition, and a lot of people do use definitions that describe a woman as not just the gender assigned at birth. So I think this is an issue that a lot of people run into, where some people are like, men can't be women, the other side's like, men can be women, and what they're
Isn't
really
that a contradiction,
arguing,
though?
what they're
If you
really
say
arguing,
men can be women, that's a contradiction, right? Because
it
men are not
depends.
women.
It depends on your definition. My point is that like these two different sides can have these statements and completely believe in them, but really it's just a contradiction in their definitions of the terms.
Right, but again, like, if we agree that that tree is green back there, and somebody says the tree is pink, but what they mean by pink is green, right, we would just say that's just stupid, yeah? Like, if your definition of the word pink is literally the word green, and you say that tree is pink, it's almost like you're doing it intentionally to confuse people. Why are we doing this?
I don't think that's a good analogy.
Because it seems like when people say I'm a woman, what they actually mean is I'm not a woman, I'm something else, but I'm calling it a woman.
Not in my experience.
So you think that a woman, like that woman right there, is the same as David if he says he's a woman? They're the same thing. They're both women.
I do not.
Okay, so then if you say men can be women, you're not actually saying men can be women. You're saying that men can be women, but when you say women, you mean something else, right? Because if David and her cannot be the same, if David identifies as a woman, then you're not saying David can be a woman. You're saying David can be something else, kind of like a woman, right?
Like a black penguin?
I'm not sure what you mean by black penguin.
But it's a whole different argument.
Okay, so
What just happened? What just happened?
someone stole the sign. They are running.
Somebody stole the sign. Oh shit! Wait, hold up. Why'd you steal the sign? Can you move your hat out of your face? Are you a student here? Are you a student here?
We are
Are you a
temporarily
student
being
here?
disrupted by a stolen.
You won't be for long. You won't be a student for long.
No, why did you do that?
Can we just know why you did it and then tried to steal another student's phone? It wasn't on your face.
The sign is
Why
back.
did you steal our sign?
We just like to get a video and a picture of them.
Video of that.
Yeah, you do?
Okay.
Please, yes, we'd love that.
They can't talk to us because they're too scared, and then they just ruin our shit.
I didn't even see her grab that.
Really go for it.
I really don't know why that person chose to steal our sign knowing that they couldn't run more than 10 feet.
That's a good point.
Send him to PE class.
Had the body mount. I'm not even, never mind. I'm trying to be a Christian.
I would like to
Be a good boy.
resume our conversation.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that I don't believe that David would be the same as a woman who is assigned that gender at birth simply by identifying as a woman. That's just my interpretation.
Can you say again?
So you mentioned that David identifying as a woman wouldn't make him the same as another woman.
Yes.
And that's just because I believe that because of my own definition.
Right. So so in that case, we're not saying that David could be a woman. We're saying that David could be something else resembling a woman, not a woman. Because if he's not the same as a woman, then he's not a woman, right?
In this analogy, all David is doing is identifying as a woman.
And I would say all he's doing is pretending to be a woman. Because he's not actually a woman. Like, if I identify as an Apache attack helicopter, I'm not an Apache attack helicopter, right?
Yes.
I'm a man. I'm a human, not a helicopter. If I said I'm a lizard, am I a lizard?
I do not think so.
Okay, if I say I'm a black man, am I a black man?
I do not think so.
Okay, so if somebody says that they're a woman, I don't think that makes them a woman. And I think that all of these things are pieces of your identity, your species, your race, your sexuality, your gender, right? Your sex. These are all aspects or portions of your identity. And I don't think that any one of them can be more changeable than the other. I think you're either white or black. You're either gay or not. You're either a man or a woman. Or, with some of them, you can be other things like Asian or whatever. I don't think you can just change your biology on the flip of a dime and change what you are. It's not who you are, it's what you are. Maybe you are, who you are is somebody who pretends to be a woman, but what you are is a man.
So, again, I think this goes back to definitions. I'm sure there are people who believe that identifying as a woman makes you a woman. I'm sure there are other definitions that imply that you have to go through gender reassignment surgeries or do something to present yourself as a woman. And there's also definitions that align with it has to be equivalent to your sex. My point is that there are different ways to define it. There are different ways to look at it. And you're free to have your own definition and view other definitions as incorrect or silly or whatever you might want to think.
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
here
just
doing.
That
I'm just
there
making
are
my case.
Differences.
I'm just making my case. You can have whatever definition you want, but I would just say that all of those definitions are silly. For example, would you say that this is a lizard?
I would not.
He's presenting himself as a lizard. Look at it. He has a forked tongue. He has scales tattooed on him, right?
That's true.
He's presenting himself as a lizard, but that doesn't make him a lizard. He's still just a guy pretending to be a lizard.
My point is that if you define a lizard as something that identifies as a lizard, then you could view that as a lizard.
But that's not a definition, because we still don't know what a lizard is. If you use the word in the definition of the word, we still don't know what the word actually means.
Okay, then if we define a lizard as something or someone who defines themselves as some reptile, insert definition of lizard, like a more biological.
But that's what a lizard is. It's just a reptile thing. So you'd say,
okay,
not someone who identifies as a scaly thing that's like a lizard.
My point
right?
is that you could define it as something that identifies as it.
Do you not feel
I don't
like
think so.
You're going through a lot of hula hoops? It's some serious mental gymnastics in order to just say men cannot be women, right? We're playing this game of, it's your definition, my definition, it's your truth, my truth. We shouldn't have to engage in something so silly like that, right? I mean, I don't want to that's a guy right there. I should be able to say, yep, that looks like a biological male. I may not know if it's biological male, but if he started to walk around and say that he identifies as a woman, and I have to pretend in his game that he's a woman, I'm not going to do that.
So, it's not really about mental gymnastics. It's just I just want to point out the fact that there are different definitions held by other people. I'm not saying that the correct definition of a man is someone who identifies as that. I'm not saying that's how a woman should be defined either.
Yeah, and I
just want you all to know that your sign is based on your definitions, and other people have different definitions.
We know that. Our sign is based on what we view as the superior definition of the word, the definition that is the most applicable, the definition that makes the most sense, the definition that is the most consistent, and that most people agree with. So I think that most people here would agree with the definition that a man, a woman is an adult human female, and an adult human female is a person who falls in the sexual category capable of producing ova. I think most people would agree with that. So it has the colloquial aspect, it has the logical aspect, and it has the consistent aspect, right? So if you disagree with those, we'd love to hear it challenged, but we can't basically challenge the argument if there's not an argument posed.
To show you how much it's not a problem, Democrats and Republicans never agree on anything. Do you know what they agree on? 2/3 of Democrats say that anybody that denies this is ridiculous. 90% of independents agree with this. Obviously, I don't have to talk about Republicans, but why do you think that even 2/3 of Democrats, it's not even 2/3, it's like 75% of Democrats say that, Somebody that's a biological male, and just because they say I'm a woman shouldn't allow them to compete in women's sports or to go to their locker rooms. Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I am not here to discuss that because I'm not very knowledgeable on that topic. I just came here because, like I said, I think a lot of people argue with each other based on these terms, not fully knowing that they simply just have different definitions.
But why do so many people that politically disagree about everything can agree that a woman is an adult female, is adult human female? Why do you think that's the case? Why do you think that when Kim reads you the dictionary, or the definition of it from the dictionary, that is the common thing that I'm sure the majority of this people in this crowd believe? Because if you're just going to tell me, well, it's hard for me to convince you when I've pointed to the various definitions, we've pointed to various scientific proof, right? If the whole take from this is that, well, I still have my own definition of words, there's nothing that we can convince you of or explain to you, right? Because you're going to continuously say, but that's just my definition. It's actually postmodernism. It's a theory that is honestly destroying a lot of minds here, because for some reason, a lot of people do believe that you have your truth and that's somehow different from the truth. And as long as you have your truth, it's like going back to the water bottle. If that's a water bottle to you, but it's a lizard to me, what's the point of having a conversation? It's almost impossible. Nothing that you're going to say is going to convince me that that's a water bottle. That's what I mean, you know? It's like, at some point you have to concede something. And if we just haven't convinced you that a woman is an adult human female, because you can still say I can identify as what I want to, that's just you just being rooted in your truth, unfortunately.
So, again, I'm not here to discuss that. And I completely get where you're coming from. I just wanted to mention that there are different definitions, and I wanted to make sure that was clear, because like I said, a lot of people...
I got that part, but do you think that makes your definition real or true?
And also, we know that there are people who disagree with us. That's why we're here.
Yes. I'm glad you do. It's just that not everyone is aware that it's because of the definitions. And back to your question,
it's because of the definition. That's why we keep saying that just because it's your truth doesn't make it the objective truth, right? I totally get it that because someone believes that a woman can identify, or a man can identify as a woman, or whatever the crazy case may be, I totally understand that, but I shouldn't accept that. Just like you're not accepting my definition of what a woman is.
I didn't come here to change your definition, and I don't know what would be the best definition, because I genuinely just don't, I'm not very knowledgeable on that, I'll admit that. And yeah, I don't want to convince you of what is right or wrong, and I'm not here to be convinced of what's right or wrong either. I just wanted to point that out because that's something that I noticed.
Yeah.
And I think we understand each other better now, and that's
absolutely.
really all I wanted.
Hey, I appreciate you coming up, man. Seriously.
Of course. Same to you.
It means a lot to us that people come out and talk to us when they disagree with us. Thank you for the respect.
Thank you.